You want details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you know what's possible. Let me tell you what's required.
Let's finish with a little life advice. lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. Check in with Kyle, who everybody is really excited about. What's up?
Well, you keep saying that. I don't know if I believe you, but I just did want to. It was a little while ago now that we're at the end of the podcast, but I just wanted to let you know that Drake did coach a women's basketball team in the Best I Ever Had music video back in the mid 2000s, late 2000s.
And look, I forgot that. So the heads up, Kyle. Thank you for that. And by the way, if people, I know this is going to blow people's minds, but your handle is, so to get more of this insight, your handle on Twitter is what?
It's Tom Shady 300, and I still don't have to change it because he just won a Super Bowl.
Tom Shady
300.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with Eminem.
No, it's Tom Brady. I actually changed it to Tom Shady, I think, when Deflategate was happening, and I got a bunch of New York Giants, Jets fans. So I just kind of leaned into it.
Oh, okay. All right. So it was branding there.
Tom Shady.
Okay. All right. Here we go. We're getting almost this community of follow-ups here. And if they're good enough, and, don't feel left out if we don't get to your email, because there's a few thousand here pretty regularly. Okay, but a guy did want to check in. He goes, hey, I want to let you know I went to a bachelor party and wedding stag for my friend I roomed with abroad. So means he's alone. Showed up to the rehearsal dinner alone, talked to maybe 4 people because all of his friends from school were broing out. I'm telling you, it is really tough to be with the college core and you're the non-core guy. I'll tell you from experience, like as our core Vermont group would expand into hometowns and get to know the moons of the friendship. So like, hey, all our core guy from Norwell, Mass, and then we go to Norwell and then we meet his crew. And then there would be overlap where guys would actually like each other and guys would meet up at Boston. But the outside guys would be like, once the UVM guys are together, it sucks. Like all you guys do is scream over the top of each other, try to outstory each other. And if you're not part of the UVM orbit at some event, it's actually not that much fun to hang out with you guys. And it was like, oh, yep, fair. So anyway, I know exactly what our guy is saying here. So he said he talked to maybe 4 people because his friends were all broing out. They asked me to play golf with them the next morning. I showed up at the golf course at 7 a.m., 40-minute drive by car, and 3 people asked me who I was when I showed up to the putting green, all of which I'd met the night before. Then I pre-gamed alone in the hotel, showed up at the wedding, hung around till dinner until I eventually left and drove 2 hours to Philly for a friend's birthday party. Mega good advice. I will never, ever go to a bachelor party where it is not my boys ever again.
That's sad.
Well, I don't know. I think he's a hero.
No, I'm thinking of him pre-gaming by himself in his hotel room like, this fucking sucks. That's all.
Fair.
That's all.
Fair. Right. Okay, we got an interesting one here. Love the show. Late 20s, good job, average looking guy. I get along with almost everyone and am generally positive about life and other people. I don't have too much experience with serious dating, but casual flings have been more prevalent. All right. Just remember, some of you guys super bummed out about your casual flings. There'd be guys on these emails that would kill to have one casual fling. All right. So there you go. Over the past 4 months, I've been seeing this girl frequently, about 10 or plus dates. All right, so 10 dates plus or so. The entire time I knew it would have to end considering I'm moving to another country for my job this summer. I was upfront about my plan and intentions for the relationship. She seemed to be on board. Last week, she broke things off entirely to pursue her ex-boyfriend, who was a staple in her life and is still one of her best friends. I know I shouldn't be sad about it considering I knew it was going to end and I wasn't giving her a longer commitment, but it still hurts. The part that stung the most is she told me something that several other partners have told me as well. It is along the lines of, thank you for showing me my worth and how I should be treated. And I learned a lot about what I want from a future relationship because of you. All bold font here. I feel like I am always the one that makes women realize what they want next. The previous girl I dated told me this as well and ended up marrying her next boyfriend. I get the feeling this current girl will end up doing the same. Is this just an excuse women use to break things off and make men feel better? Is this just bad luck with me, or am I the ultimate fall guy here? Some friends say I am too nice in the relationship, but I don't buy that. All right. Fall guy, he was referencing the Chris Carter to the NFL rookies thing. I don't think that's quite the same use of fall guy, but I get where you're going here. All right, let's start with a couple of the positives. The fact that this most previous girl that you dated, who you knew it was going to end anyway, that she went out with you 10 plus times means you got something going on. All right. She liked you enough, and you obviously liked her, that she wanted to keep hanging out with you. Now, I know it kind of sucks when somebody gets back together with their ex and you're like the in-between person. I had a weird run in my 20s where I think 3 different girls all got engaged to a guy they had previously dated after they dated me, which made me think that I was like, man, just a couple months with me. And the girl was like, ugh, forget. Yeah, I'll go back to the other guy and get married. That was the worst. So that's what I kind of, my friends thought that was really funny for a little while. They're like, this is like 3 in a row where they immediately got married to the guy they were dating right before they met you. I was like, yep, seems to be a pattern. So, whatever. It could also just be the randomness of numbers. So don't worry about it. So I think that's a really good positive. It seems that women are dating you, and after the first one, they don't want to bail. They want to see you again. It can feel a little bit like it's not you, it's me, when they say that, thank you for showing me my worth. But I've also known some women that would date somebody that they knew it wasn't really a long-term thing. And I hate to be shallow about this, but a lot of times it probably will come down to like a physical thing. And they'll say, I just needed to date somebody really nice because I wasn't treated great in the last relationship. I need to date somebody that's just nice. And then I'd be like, okay, but, is that fair to the other person? Like, are you actually being selfish right now because you need to be treated better than you've been treated in the past, where this other person's like heart is going to be in on this, and they're going to think like they have maybe somebody that's going to be part of their long-term future. And all you're doing is just sort of like rehabbing with a nicer person right now. And I'm not saying that's necessarily happened to you, but it's okay to be aware of that. Here's what I would just keep doing, man. It's really simple. If you've been out with a few women over the last few times that you've dated, and they've all been this great to you and responsive, and kept wanting to see you multiple times, I think you're going to end up finding somebody that appreciates the way you've made some of these other women feel, if they're telling you the truth, and it's going to be fine. I would just keep doing your thing. Don't change it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't start thinking like, oh, hey, is this girl going to say the exact same thing to me? Because when you start getting in your own head about it, then I don't know, they can pick it up, man. They can smell confidence and the lack of confidence on you. It's an incredible superpower that women have. But I would not get too down on yourself about this, because if you had said, hey, I've been on 10 dates with 10 different women, I never get a second date ever, I'd be like, all right, we got some problems here. Like, this guy keeps screwing up, and that's not you. So just keep doing your deal. It seems that people appreciate it, and you're probably going to find somebody. And you're moving overseas anyway, so whatever.
Go watch Good Luck Chuck.
Yeah, Euro trip. You ever seen Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo? That guy killed it.
Totally. Also, and I looked at the plot from Good Luck Chuck. That was the Dane Cook movie back in 2007, where
I missed that one.
Every girl, it was exactly this guy's situation. Every ex-girlfriend that he has, the next person they meet, they get married to. So like word gets out, and then girls like try to like hook up with him so that they can find their like husband. And in the end, he ends up staying with Jessica Alba. So good luck, Chuck.
Yeah, there you go. And he worked at Costco, didn't he?
I think that was Employee of the Month.
Oh,
another.
I always screw up my Dane Cook movies. I just making sure this wasn't a movie plot here, right? This one seems real.
Yeah, this one seems real.
Yeah, I think this one was real. Get a couple fakes every now and then.
If he said everybody got married after meeting him, then it would have been fake.
Yeah. And then if he said, I just, he's like, I'm working at Costco, but I'm working my way up. You didn't like the Costco joke the second time.
I was muted. No, I would laugh. I promise.
It would have just been funnier if you started mixing all sorts of Dane Cook movies in there. But that's what you're here for.
Waiting?
You're here for a younger perspective and to keep me in line on it. I mean, how many of the Dane Cook CDs did you buy?
None, because it was MySpace.
LimeWire?
It was MySpace and LimeWire.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
That was his thing. Is like he would just put it on his MySpace, and then all of a sudden you're listening to a track on MySpace called "Shit on the Coats," and it's like, what am I doing?
Did you ever buy CDs? You're not that young.
Yeah, I bought CDs, but also like my
Okay.
buddies would burn them for me too.
That's right. Yeah, I don't
The
see
pink
you.
ones.
I don't see you being the guy in the group that would be like, "Oh, I'll get it, and I'll burn a copy for you." I see you being the other way around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would get CDs for Christmas, but it was like what my parents would give me. So it's like now that's what I call music volume 7. And it's like I like 3 of these songs. So
Hey Ryan, I know you love emails with thousands of words, but I got something short and not too philosophical for you. I live in northern Colorado and considering buying some land next year or so due to outrageous prices in Colorado. I can't figure out this real estate thing around the country right now, man. Stuff is absolutely, I don't know. People just moving away from cities. Is that forever now? Is that what everybody's going to do? Looking back on what this pandemic will do to certain, beyond the obvious things, but some of the things that we can't predict right now, they're going to change the way people go about their business. Yeah, I don't know. I can't figure it out. Due to outrageous prices, I'm looking at some alternative options. I was thinking about getting some acres in Wyoming and remembered you spent some time there. Is this guy fucking with me or what? Yeah, I could tell you a place that's cheap to stay for one night. It's free. And I could give you a hotel recommendation where your key works on a bunch of the doors. Any suggestions on certain areas that you like in the state? Here's what I'm telling you. Like, I don't know Wyoming well enough. Jackson Hole isn't exactly where you want to go to save money. Do you think property value there could boom considering the rising costs in Colorado and other Western states? What you'd probably need to figure out is the next Boulder before it became Boulder, because Boulder's ridiculously expensive too. But Boulder didn't make a ton of sense because it felt like it wasn't convenient to the airport. Then again, airport joke here. Nothing is convenient to the airport in Denver. So, I like Cherry Creek a lot, but that's not where you're I don't know the rest of the Wyoming towns. Actually, I don't really know Jackson Hole that well. I don't know any of the towns well enough to give you better advice on this thing. I mean, Bozeman seems like it's really expensive now too, but it's not going to be as expensive as Denver or Boulder, that kind of stuff. And it depends on what you need. Do you need to be near an airport? Like I always needed to be near an airport because I was gone a lot. So unless you're just going to go straight up McCandless and buy land with like no access roads or paved roads and that kind of stuff, which I don't think that's what you're saying, but you have to figure out, at least on researching, like, do you need to be near a medical center? I know some people think that the resale, whether it's schools or also, a big town, like I've been looking in Burlington, Vermont for a while. And part of the resale value in that is that you're near this amazing medical center. So whether it's younger people, and then everybody tries to talk up like, oh, we're doing a lot more tech. And be like, are you, are you actually a tech center to like one place startup downtown? But if older people are moving to these towns, they like the medical centers too. So that's always something to think about on resale alone here. So I can't tell if this is a bit of a pandemic boom where everybody feels like they would just want to explore and live in the woods. And I mean, live in the woods, like when Vermont real estate and the surrounding Burlington areas, not just Burlington, but outside are on fire the way that they are. Bozeman's been on this run for a little while. I mean, Jackson Hole, that's been over forever. I mean, that's elite stuff. I even looked in Big Sky for a while, south of Bozeman and all that kind of stuff. I really, really like Big Sky, but if you need a town, like a more of a functioning town, Big Sky is just going to be too slow for you. Where else? I don't know. A lot of the places I've been to are like the ski areas, and I don't ski, so you figure that one out. But I guess I just like the towns. So none of that stuff's going to be cheap. So you need to kind of, I don't know if it's like a Laramie or, I don't know those towns enough. I'm not going to start breaking down Cheyenne for you here. All right. So I would focus on Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, but I would focus on trying to find a town that does it. Does Missoula do it for you? It's a nice little deal. They've got the airport, you pull in, it's kind of cool. Got some stuff going on. You could explore Montana for a month and still not do it right. So there you go. I don't know if that was any help. I don't feel like that was any help at all. I'm just admitting that to everybody right now. Okay, last one. We'll juice it up here a little bit. My wife, excuse me, that would have been a bad one. My wife sucks. No, my friend's wife sucks. All right, this is a longer one, but it's worth it. I'm around 40. Most of my best friends from school all moved to the same big city post-college. That's great, man. So now they're in the same suburbs. I have a solid group of local guys I've been friends with for 20 years. Man, so jealous. That's great. I have plenty of friends whose wives range from great to tolerable, but I have one very good friend whose wife plain sucks. My wife is the sweetest, nicest woman in the world. No idea. So right now we're going, all right, what's going on? We need examples here, buddy. He gives us those. No idea why she went for a guy who walks around bitching about everything like me. He's talking about his wife. But even she